with the Carillions, like these guys, again, part of their training, they've met thousands of dogs, okay? And there's one point here, they can be dog aggressive. So if you don't socialize them with other dogs, they will be dominant. And if that dog comes up to them and gives them attitude, they will fight, okay? But again, being government dogs, I can't have that. So they've met several dogs, and they're great with other dogs. If I sense another dog coming over to me, he's got attitude, I just tell the person to take the dog away, because we can't wreck. But again, they're great with, they got cats at home they play with, and all sorts of things. Continuous training, like I said, they got that independent thinking, so every so often I have to reassure them that I'm the boss and go through some of these different training techniques they have to remember. Officer safety, like I said, if there's a bear decides going to come in, there's no worry of them backing off. They'll protect you. Right there, there's a little grizzly bear actually being processed. They're putting a radio collar on it, and when we're doing that, somebody has to be on guard. So I'm on guard with a gun, and then we'll have 2 dogs. Okay. So again, if any bear snuck in, they would sense that right away and go after it, saving our lives and the bear's life. Right there we have the dogs they treat a little black bear. So let's say we have an individual that's dealing with this bear, he's habituated, we have to move him. Okay? Instead of setting a trap out, we have the big bear traps. Instead of setting those out for 2 or 3 days trying to catch this thing, well, dogs can find him in half an hour, and we can tranquilize the bear, put him in the trap, and move him away. If that was the action we had to take on that bear. What we try and do before that is do that burst conditioning, where if that bear did come around, he was just about to get into bird feed, we try and scare the bear away. And that would consist of the bangers, rubber bullets, me yelling, dogs wanting to get him. And a lot of times, if it's a first encounter, we basically just push the bear with the dogs on leash. So it's bangers, push. But let's say that bear, his attitude is not acceptable, then we could release the dogs and they would tree it. There's a black bear, for example, and we harass the bear in the tree for a while, back off, and leave the area. And the bear usually comes down with these. Okay. But again, it saves lots of time and effort if we can, instead of setting traps out and, like I said, Kuma actually saved my life one time. We were on a mauling, and the bear actually killed a person. We had to come upon that site, and that bear looked at us, and he was challenging us. He said, "Your guys are next." And we see the way the bear was behaving, and Kuma went after him right away, and changed his decision. But we ended up having to put down that bear, anyways, because of what he did. But Kuma went after him and startled him, and then held him for us while we had to put that animal down because of his actions. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is, if we didn't have the dogs, we could have been chasing that bear for another 2 days, trying to catch him. And it's very stressful if it's a mauling scenario. So with the dogs, they can deal with the right way and hold the bear with us if that's what we had to do for that particular situation or bear. I'll just bring up another point about him saving my life. I had a moose that tried to attack me, and he was coming from the side, and I didn't realize he was there. It was a problem moose in town, and I actually had a gun, but it was rubber bullets, because we were initially going to scare the moose away. And I looked, and this moose was coming right at me. Well, he just jumped in there and nailed its chest and knocked it down. And it gave me time to get my gun ready and everything. And the moose actually trampled him after, and he was fine. And anyways, a couple days later, we had to end up putting that moose down because he was very aggressive towards people. But my point was that moose would have had me right there. It was so quick, and I didn't see where he was coming, but he did. And it was amazing how he protected me in that scenario. Another thing that we use, you might not see it very well, but there's a pile of dirt in the back there. That's a 1,200-pound cow that the grizzly bear killed. So what we do, we have to investigate that, confirm how it died, and if it was killed by a predator, then the producer would be paid for it. But we have to do an autopsy up there and look at it. Well, you can imagine that grizzly bear is pretty close. When they kill something, they bury like that, they're nearby, okay, and they do not want to give that up. So there you go, us and Point and the dogs there too. So again, if that bear came in, we get there very quick, the dogs can protect us. This is up in Canmore. This is actually during the mauling scenario that happened up there. We were in the area with the dogs and creating public safety for the golfers in the area until that bear was dealt with. Again, people really appreciated us out there and basically protecting them from some of the predators in the area. We also use them for evidence collection. So like this year, we had somebody poach an elk in a wrong area, and they smuggled the elk out back home. But we were able to find the area where the elk was harvested, which is illegal, where he took it. And the gut pile was all consumed by scavengers. But in about 10 seconds, she found a little bit of gut pile in the grass. I would never found it. She did. And then the DNA matched right back to the illegal carcass that was at the guy's house. So she solved that case for us in like 10 seconds. I probably never found that remains that was left. So we use them for evidence collection. Somebody's trying to hide something. She's really good with fish. So if somebody's trying to hide fish, they'll find that. The ice fishermen don't like her. They hide it, and she finds it right away there. And it's amazing. Sometimes somebody will have old rod fish, and they're like, "That's not mine. I didn't put it there." But it's funny. So for other duties as enforcement, they're very valuable. This is a grizzly bear that came into a yard site. This is in southern Alberta, and obviously damaged the door trying to get some feed. So again, when we bring the dogs there, they'll actually smell around and show us where the bear's been walking. And we're trying to look for tracks in the grass, good luck. But they show exactly where he came in and then where he's left, and they can gauge the different scents. Again, why the bear was there. So this one's obvious because of the grain, and then where the bear left. And again, if they both will air scent, they'll do the tracking scent on the ground, but they both air scent too. So if that bear was still around and the wind was in the right direction, they would be able to pick that up. So we know the bear is still around. We use them on roadblocks and find like blood in the back of vehicles and things like that. This photograph is some of the other species we work with. Right here, this is in the Crozes Pass area. You'll see some bighorn sheep on the side of the hill. What was happening in the Crozes Pass is we basically had these sheep that lived on the highway, and they were being hit all the time. We would lose several a year by the semis, and it got to a point that whole group was being basically killed off by the vehicles. So what we decided to do is use the dogs as a version tool on these sheep. So basically how we did it is, I would show up with a nice white government truck, and the sheep would look at us, and dogs would come out, and bangers going off yelling, dogs chase them off the highway, up the slope, call the dog off. Okay? So that was working perfect, right? But the only way it was working is because people phoned us right away and said the sheep were on the highway. So now, we had vehicles, tourists would come by and stop in the ground. And the sheep would look at them and go, they would stay there. But when I showed up with a white truck, they would take off. They would recognize my truck. And it was really weird how it was happening. So then I started using a van and a car, and I got to a point where the sheep didn't know which vehicle this dog was going to come out. And again, everybody phoned us right when the sheep were on the highway. And you know what, guys? It's been 7 years and we hadn't had a sheep hit in that spot. Because what happened was I consistently did it because I got the phone calls. And it got to a point where the sheep went from the highway and then the ditch, and then they just stayed up on the slope. And that's where they lived. They didn't even bother coming to the road anymore because they weren't there more than 5 minutes. I got a call. I was up there with a different vehicle. And it's almost at that point they didn't even stay along the road anymore. Now people are mad at us because they can't see the sheep. Also with the moose, what we had is we have moose coming into town eating on trees in the backyard. Well, what we do is actually, if the scenario is right, if the snow wasn't too deep, we'd actually release the dogs and they would actually hold the moose in one spot. We shoot the moose with rubber bullets, bangers for about 20 seconds. and the moose is just losing it, because there's so much going on, but you can't leave because the dogs aren't letting them go. And then we call the dogs off, the moose would leave, and we did like 3 of those, and the moose never came back. The one time, but with so much drama within that 20 seconds, the moose would just leave and never come back. And people would say when they're walking their dog, and they see the moose way up on the hill, and their dog would bark, the moose would actually leave. So it's all about giving them the full meal deal all at once. There's just a moose taken off. Again, we use them for cougars. We have a problem cougar in town. And again, for public education, the kids love them to death. It's great ambassadors. We do lots of community involvement here. We have the kids, part of our Bear Smart program. We take the dogs out. We take the kids out of school for the day, and they help us pick apples in town. So they're all working together. Okay, so that's it for the. Now I got the cool stuff. Now I got some video to show you. Okay, let's see if I can find this one. Okay, so I'm not going to turn the volume up because if the volume's up, Quota will bark. Because she's gonna hear stuff on the video and she'll start barking. So I'm gonna talk while this is going on, and I'll pause it here and then explain what's going on here. So again, that's Carrie. That's when we first got the puppies back in 2001. Part of the process, we had to get a lady to evaluate some of our training. So we got the local lady that was a dog trainer. I've trained dogs before, but we had to get the dogs evaluated because obviously it's a government program. So you'll see that here too. But that lady right there, that's Judy. So we worked with her on some of the training techniques and then evaluation of the dogs after. You will see where we go into some of the yards here. Okay, actually what's coming next. So this is us. We're down Montana. We're picking up the dogs. And part of the testing, people ask us, well, how much are they? And we can get a curling bear dog for $800 at a kennel. But we pay a couple of grand because what happens is Carrie puts them through several tests before we get them. Okay? Because you can have a litter of 7 curling bear dogs. Maybe 2 might be bear dogs that will obey you and actually not be scared of the bear. So what you're going to see here is Kuma's litter, way back when. And we're at Doug Seuss's ranch. Doug Seuss, he owned Bart the Bear, the movies, and Archie and Honey Bun and all those ones. So we actually do them, so we help train our dogs. So what you're going to see is this is Archie from Dr. Dolittle movie. And he's going to come up, and what we're doing is we're watching the puppies and see how they act. And you'll see actually Kuma, and he's right at the screen looking at the bear, not scared. And that you're evaluating on that. Some of the other dogs are hiding in the corner, really scared. So you'll see Archie, the grizzly bear, trained grizzly bear, come up here in a second. So again, that's why we pay a few extra dollars, because we know what we're getting. You don't want to invest all that years of training and then realize the dog's actually fearful of predators. So the bear should be walking up here. So Carrie's just explained. But sorry for not putting the volume up, but if Coda hears Carrie's voice, she'll be barking. She loves her death. So there's a bear. That's Kuma. He's smelling at the window there. He'll go over to the side. And he's not fearful at all. There's a couple puppies that are hiding in the corner. So they're touching noses there. So that's a win right there. They're not scared of that big, huge bear that's outside. The next one here is, this is Arch again. So what they're going to do, they're watching how the dog acts in front of the bear. And what you're going to see is Micah and Kuma, they'll be in front, they'll look at the bear, or whatever, no big deal. And then what you're going to see is the dominant puppy, which is a really big one. You watch what he does when he sees that bear. Okay, so there's Micah, which was Kuma's buddy there 12 years ago before he passed away. Here's Kuma. You'll see him look up at the big 600-pound bear. And it's like, no big deal, I'm okay with it. So he's passing the test right there. Again, like I said, there's several tests you have to go through. Okay. So now you'll see, this is the big dominant puppy of the bunch. He's Mr. Dominant. Look what he does. I'm out of here. So that puppy ended up being a pet. But the thing is, we have to make sure we're going to invest that money, time and after. We have to go through those tests, and that's why we buy from Winger Bear Institute, because they're very good at evaluating those dogs. And anybody that's buying a puppy, you can use those same tests depending on what you're trying to train them for. Okay? Yeah. So this is Judy. Again, we'll let her do some stuff with the dogs, and then we'll do it, and we will try different things. She's got horses at her place, so we'll use them as tools. You'll see here, pretty soon some of the, we can teach them all these parlor tricks. I can get maybe Code to do some later, but it's great for, at the school talks. So I'm trying to get, Kuma's pretty young here, I'm trying to get him to listen to me, but Judy's waving a hunk of chicken behind me, so you can watch what Kuma does. And this is this independent thinker. It's like, no, I'm not going to listen to him right away. So again, and when you're training puppies, you go through that. They'll learn a lot of stuff, and then they go brain dead, and then they got it. So here's, again, some of their training, you got to beat horses, and there's certain things you can't allow them to do. So this is just some of the different techniques that we use. But like I said, we can never have a wreck going into a farm yard. They have to be useful. So the more they see, the better. Next one here is Kuma's play toy. That's what we grew up with. Big Newfoundland, 200-pound Newfoundlander. So again, I can talk about socializing. Farther trained when they're puppies, they got to be as many dogs as possible. Again, kids. These are my kids. They hate us because now they're 20. So here's a bear paw. It's dried up bear hide. So again, we talked about we have to use that scent and that word and stuff, so they're used to it. This was just a grizzly bear on the side of the road. Okay, what's going to happen here? There's actually a grizzly, just run along on the side of the road. So you phone me and say, you know what? There was a grizzly bear near my house half an hour ago. Okay, so I show up before and say, Chris, I have no dogs. I'm here. I said, the bear's gone. Well, Chris is like, yeah, right, John. You don't know if the bear's in there. And so the person being upset, say, well, I don't want this bear back in 5 minutes. So with the dogs, it's great now because they can actually smell it and scent it and let us know if that bear is still there. Okay. So what you're going to see here is I'm along a road. There's a grizzly bear actually in the woods there, and he's walking along, but Kuma's air scenting him. I can hear him. So you'll see Kuma stop every so often, look, and actually the bear would be right between his ears. And you'll see 2 clips of this. And then at the end of it, you'll actually see where we had followed the bear for like 1,000 meters, and then the bear walks out and leaves. But the point is how incredible they are at scenting them and knowing where they are and telling us. Okay. I don't want Kuma to go in there chasing it, because the bear is allowed to be in there where he is. He hasn't done anything wrong. But again, if he came out, then we'd have to deal with him, scare him away, so he doesn't get into a problem. Okay, so here's a little bit about the sheep. So you'll see Kuma chasing the sheep up the road. I'll whistle, call him back. Okay, and that's what we consistently have to do. This is actually in K country. These sheep hadn't been worked before. So that's basically what we do. We stop the traffic and we chase them off, and we do it consistently. And like I said, it's been 6-7 years, and we haven't had an animal killed on the highway in that spot, or big sheep. Part of their training is whistles and hand signals. So I'm just showing you where I'll, instead of yelling and screaming at the dog, I'll whistle and do a hand movement. Because if they're quite a ways out there, they'll be able to see that and go the direction I have to tell them to go find the animal. Okay. Again, this is part of their training. We will do tracking. So, a different age up to that 3-year mark. So we'll do a 15-minute track, a half-an-hour track, maybe an hour track, maybe 3 hours later. So you can judge how good the dog is at attracting something, right? So again, you phone me and say, John, 2 hours ago this bear was here. You know, they've been trained to track and listen to us, so they'd be on right away, and they show you exactly where the bear went and how he came in. But again, like I said, lots of work, lots of training, and you need to do that, you know, to make it work. Okay, I think the next slide is, I have to update these slides because they're quite, or this video is quite old. But it's really hard to get the video because I've got the gun, I got the dog, and I don't have somebody to hold the camera on me. I tried to get Chrissy to do it, but I won't tell them that story. Right here, this is a grizzly bear that was near Bragg Creek. The officer tried for like a week and a half to try and catch him. He would go in traps, snares, and he was actually hanging around a handicap facility. And he was really getting habituated. So the officer's like, what do we do? What do we do? Well, they finally got a hold of me. And what we're able to do is now we can free range dart bears. Okay, before they have to be in the snare, you dart and they fall asleep. Well, now they're on the other side of the room. I can dart them, and then the bear goes off and falls asleep. Well, now with the dogs, we can find them. So this particular bear, Puma found, we darted him off the highway, and 200 yards later, there he is sleeping. And the problem was solved, everybody was happy, the bear was moved. So again, that's where it's very successful. Okay, so here's back to that grizzly bear that's along the road. And you'll watch Kuma. He's totally into his job, so he'll be watching and hearing and then scenting. He'll lift his nose up a few times. So he totally knows what he's doing. So he senses going to the right. So you have to really learn to read your dog. Several times in the training process when I was dealing with a bear, I said, come here, Ron, you know what you're talking about. Well, the dog proved me wrong. Always listen to your dog. So again, like he's sending him and we walked that 1,000 yards and again, preventing that bear from coming out and going into the campsite behind us. But you can hear how you turn, you can hear it. So the bear would be between his ears there. Okay, so now I'm backing off here because I know the bear's going to be coming out there, so there he comes. So that was about a 400-pound grizzly that was there. So everything worked out fine, the bear kept on going, everybody's safe, bear's safe. But again, it was great having that detection by the dog. You can't really see this one, but there's actually a grizzly bear in there in a snare. Again, we're just going to tranquilize it. And the bear busted loose. Again, the dog's attacking right away. Or the bear would even change his mind about even coming towards us because the dog's there. But when we're doing that, dogs got to listen. Like, see, we shot that dart, and Kuma jumped a bit, came back. So you got to be really obedient. You can't have a dog that wants to take off and wreck. That bear was tranquilized, so he went off and fell asleep, and I just sent Kuma in first, and he's just checking on. Okay, so this one, that is 6 dead sheep. So what we had is a grizzly bear that came into a acreage area and killed the sheep. We had to set up snares to try and catch it. And again, this is where the dogs are on guard duty watching and making sure the bear doesn't come in when we're doing this. And this bear was probably nearby because after we left, about 20 minutes later, he came in. So here's a scenario. So you'll see Kuma sitting on the hill, and he's just watching for us. Again, so if the bear came running in or sneaking in, he'd be on it right away and alerting us. Again, we have officers with guns too, but dogs, he's focused, he's watching, he's smelling. So again, saving the bear from being shot and us being attacked. So we left the area, and half an hour later, look who shows up. So he was nearby, waiting for us to leave. So there again, where he's actually caught in a snare. We're going to tranquilize him here. There he was just tranquilized, and he's going to fall asleep here in a minute. But it's funny, you guys will look at that bear, it's pretty big. Everybody thinks, 400, 500, 600 pounds. That bear was only 280 pounds because we actually weighed them. But they're incredibly, when you look at them, you're going, you think they're a lot bigger, but lots of fur. Just jumping back to the sheep again, this is these in K country, so Kuma was working the sheep, so these sheep obviously don't know the program yet. And so again, Kuma chases them. I'll call them back here, because well, they're allowed to stay up in that area, so then I'll shoot a banger off. And then there goes the banger. So they have to learn to stay up there. And again, it only worked like out of Christmas past year because we had people pulling us all the time and letting us know. So we were on right away. So great success story. This is in the Crozes Pass. Again, we had some sheep. This is at the start of the program. Again, they showed up. They realized the white truck was there, so they always started with me. And this was earlier on in the diversion process. Again, that we had to start using different vehicles. So this was Kirk with Micah. So what you'll see is Micah run to the tracks and stop, and that's the boundary we're telling the sheep. So you can't come past the tracks. And they learn. We consistently do it all the time. They just stand there and go, okay, we're busy. This is what we do for when we talked about doing a version on a bear. So let's say, for example, this bear, he hasn't really done anything wrong, and he's living in that area close to the people's homes. So what we do, we'll actually capture that bear, put a transmitter on so we can actually track them. We try and do that to like maybe a male that's going to be living in the area, because he ends up being like the bully on the block and keeps all the younger bears away. So what we'll do is we'll actually pick that bear and throw a transmitter on, and that way we can track them. Christy and 12 of my volunteers, we have a program that goes this past where we have bears like that, and they monitor them for me all the time. When the bears decide they want to sneak into town, these guys can detect them because of the receivers and the signal. They phone me, and we do a version on the bear. Well, this is the start of it. This is called a hard release. So this bear, he's got a transmitter on him. So what we're doing actually releasing him, rubber bullets, bangers, dog chasing through the woods, and then the dog comes back. So this is the first process of trying to teach that bear that dogs, people are bad. So you're going to see a bear run out here, this little black bear. So bark, 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 bangers going off, bear's scared, now goes Kuma. But the bear hit the woods already, so now I'm going to call Kuma back, and he leaves alone, because you're teaching the bear, you're in the woods, you're fine, you come out, and it's going to get worse for you. So Kuma will sit there and bark and stuff. And again, that's the start of the program to teach. We're trying to teach a individual bear a geographic spot, saying you can't stay in this spot, you can't be around people. And again, lots of work, but it does work. Lots of commitment to everybody, by everybody. Like I mentioned before, we're just about to end here, folks. So thanks for sticking around. I do 14 school talks a year just to promote the program, and the kids, you know what, they listen, they love the dogs, and you know what, they go home and tell mom and dad to think the garbage, pick the apples, put down bird feeders. So we get them doing little tricks. These are preschoolers. So, again, it's so important in public education. You know, we can go and do this and do that, but you need to start this generation of kids just so they learn. And some of these kids right here are probably, 16 years old now. So shows you how old these kids are. And this is me carrying a 500-pound grizzly bear out of the woods. Actually, I was carrying a 100-pound black bear and it peed on me. You can see it there. I'm kind of going like this. And it was tranquilized. I was just taking it back to the trap and was asleep and peed over my uniform. They had to get that on video. And this is a grizzly bear running by one of my cameras, so it's kind of cool. So we're releasing grizzly bear, and this little bear and rubbing his back on a little grizzly bear cub. That's it. Thank you. If there's any questions, feel free to not be able to see us, but I'm going to put a bunch of food on the ground in front of her. So again, I'm the boss, so she can't touch it until I tell her. Leave it. Okay, go ahead. So anyways, yeah, I can get her do lots of little tricks there for the kids. So it's a great tool, great ambassadors for the government and the community. She's really hyper, so she didn't get a run today, so she wants to go. Anyways, if there's any questions?
Where do you keep her in the office and how do you transport her in the truck?
Basically, she lives in the office and she sits with me and she comes with me all the time when I go to work. I have a cage and kennel in the truck. So where that prisoner box would be, I have a dog cage. Yeah. So yeah, well, it's big enough for both of them. But they're always with me because, you know what, those days that you leave them at home, because you want a break, that's when you all the bear complaints and you gotta go home again and stuff. But I bring a story. They're not aggressive. They're not like a police dog where they're going to go after people. But it's amazing. I've been in scenarios where the dogs are in the truck, the window's down, and somebody's very aggressive towards me on a enforcement issue. And they can sense that, and they bark. They get upset because they can hear what's going on. And the person, the bad person, thinks they're police dogs. Right? And they're actually more scared because they said, well, they're bear dogs. They go after people. So you really don't want me to let them out. Okay? So but again, they're great tools. Again, they're not aggressive. Right? Well, that's a bear respect. Any other questions?
I use my dog as a bear dog. Does that make sense? Any suggestions on where to go for like training info?
Me?
Right.
Actually, there's lots of little things you can do. And it's funny, in the Gross's Pass, I've actually helped people train their dogs because they wanted to see if their dog would actually go after a bear. So what we've done is, I volunteer my time. I actually have a frozen bear carcass. We put out in the woods. And we've actually I bring my dogs and theirs, and we walk towards where the bear would be hiding in the woods. And the dogs can smell it, even like let's say your dog, right? And what we've actually done is they know what's going on, they smell it, and the other dogs look and go, what's going on? I can smell this thing. And then all of a sudden they see that bear, okay? They start barking, and your dog isn't sure what it should do. But then it reacts to what they're doing, and they start barking, right? So what I've done is I start backing up my dogs, right? And let yours stay ahead. And it's funny, either your dog's like, I'm scared, I'm going back with them, or I'm going to actually be aggressive towards this. And I've had shepherds want to leave. I have little dogs and want to get that bear. But what I've done is I would grab your dog then, okay? And then you actually run out the bear and attack and hit it, okay? It's a frozen bear, and you scream and yell and all that. Okay, it's amazing what your dog will do. Because they see you thinking it's being attacked, right? And I've seen the little dogs just freaking out, barking, want to save you, and then I release them, and they go and help you bite at the bear and stuff.
Exactly.
But you can only do that once, because then they figure it out. But we tried that with other people, and they're amazed that my dog would actually save you. And it's kind of cool when we've done that.
And mentorship program.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. But you got the training thing that started like at day one, right? But there's a lot of tools I have that make them a bear dog that you wouldn't have, like real bears.
It seems like a really useful program. Is the province open to expanding it further north?
I've asked and tried, but hasn't gone anywhere. I think some of the officers have expressed interest. So I think, you know, the managers in that area have to see some of the talks and learn more about it. Again, we have a canine unit, and there's only two dogs that work in it. But again, I use them for fish, finding fish. So let's say Slave Lake, they'd be great for doing check stops on fish, people seeking fish out. So I think it's there, just gotta get the right people, right commitment. You know, like I said, you got the 12 years of being with that animal. You know what, that's why I'm here today, talk to you guys, because I thought, we gotta expand this more to the north, get people talking about it and committing to good use. I was talking to somebody earlier, Cuba costs the government $1,200 this year, and Dakota $800. That's what their dog food was, and a few vet bills. So the cost to maintain them is, I can have a bake sale and raise that money. So really the cost, they save a lot of extra money in overtime for officers and things like that. So it's a win-win situation. The initial cost is when we buy the dogs and evaluation of them by the training, related evaluation of dogs, kennels and stuff is about 10 grand initially, but then afterwards it's vet bills, dog food. Any other questions?
Good question. Has there been any research done on curly and bear dogs can be used to sniff out accelerants from the over Japanese problems with dogs, predators, cat cars, track down?
No, we haven't. Like the only guy that's been training us other than Rob. You kind of look at what breed is good for what. Like a Brittany Spaniel would be great for, obviously, for birds, right? Labs for birds. These guys that I found out, it's what you're willing to do. Like dogs are smart. You get a smart dog, you can get them to do about anything. They actually did a drug bust for the Mounties, but I didn't train them for that, but they smelled that weird smell. So when we were dealing with it, the dog, like with actually Puma, he's like, what is that smell? He's smelling it at the back of the truck. He's a weird, and that guy ended up confessing that's where all the drugs was. But they smell something weird. So I think, like just about any dog, if they're smart enough, you can train them just about do anything. But there's a lot of commitment and lots of time and lots of work.
In northeastern Alberta, there's a guy named Billy. I can't remember his last name, but he's a private contractor that has these dogs up in the Air Weapons range, and we used them up with Sonomas up at Conklin.
Okay.
And dealing with bears, and I was wondering if there are other contractors in Alberta, or just you guys and this fellow from East Rock.
I knew a fellow that was using boar pulleys on the air base, Cold Lake.
Yeah, these are the Canadian dogs.
Okay. See, basically in Alberta, the only one that's actually doing it is Carrie from Wind River Barons too, and she comes up to K Country in Canmore, and I believe SRD and Parks and Soljet put money together to bring her up to do a version on the grizzly bears.
Okay.
But as far as anywhere else, no. And they would, for them to do it, they would have to get a damage permit from us to be able to do that. And the problem, like I've had guys approach me, and the government has to be very careful because, like with these dogs, I have a diary from day one. All the training they've done, all the faults, how I improved it, and this and this. They have to go through a lot of tests to be certified. Okay, if somebody approached me and said, I have a bear dog, he can do this, well, you have to be able to prove to us that he's capable of being pulled off the bear and because you could have a wreck in a campsite or anything like that. So it's very tough for somebody to step in and say, I want to get a contract with the government and do that because there's such a liability, on controlling the dogs. And what I found, like Cold Lake scenario, that individual was working bears with the dogs, but he wasn't able to use bangers, rubber bullets, any of those things. And what I found out when you're dealing with a bear, you got to give them the full meal deal all the time. You can't go, well, banger this down, time and barking dog this time. The bear figured it out right away. So you have to make it so much drama all the time. The bear's like, I don't want to be here. So I believe that individual wasn't able to do that because
these bears would get under the camp, and that's the only way you can get the bear out from underneath the trailers, so is to get the dog under there. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And the
there's
bear
lots
comes
to it,
along.
but like Carrie's got the history and she's been doing it for so long, and that's why she was able to get the contract.
Oh, yeah.
But, that's Alberta.
Good.
That's it. Thank you.
We'd like to thank John very much, and Al would like to have a few words before we leave. They'll be up in, here in a second.
You have to say,
I think a lot of people want to get out of here, so I won't get through all of this. I just want to thank all the presenters. I want to thank the organizing committee, which was Lane Anderson, John Caldwell, and Alan Fisher. They're the ones that helped us put this together, come up with the themes, and get the presenters. I also want to thank Myra and Chanel for all their help. And also, I want to thank our college members that helped us out last night, setting everything up and helped us out throughout the day. And I guess the other thing is that we will be putting a survey online so you can tell us what you thought of the tech session. Please give us your comments and go in there and fill it out. I hope everybody had a good day. I thought it was quite interesting. And the last thing to say is that for the college members, this can be claimed Category 1, Area 2 for competencies, and it's 7.25 hours. If you go look on the CAPFT website, right under where they're talking about the test session, it says right in there what to be claimed. So I guess that's it. And we start tomorrow at 8 a.m., same time. Conference breakfast at 7:30. Registration starts then, and then we kick off at 8:30. So thank you everybody and have a good day.
Get your detailed notes. Probably there'll be a lot of guys staying here. I'll have one. I gotta go shirt shopping. I got my shirts in this one is a sweater I wore yesterday. Is that before you get back to
Yeah, just before, like right across from CAPFT.
well, it's gone. Name's good. Makes sense. end up shooting it to be safe.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I wonder how often
Just the don't like dogs. Yeah. Too fast.
you know, I'm that bear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of non-members here today, right? Just there's open anyway.
That's a good idea.
Tech session's open. I don't think anybody's here. Negative reinforcement.
Looks like gorilla tape. Good
Not
stuff.
quite, not quite. That stuff, you can never pull it up.
I know, it's pretty sticky.
Well, that's about it.
Come on,
And then it leaves crap all over the court. It's fantastic for holding them down, but then when you're done, not so good.